Hello everyone and welcome back to Real Talk. I'm Charlie.
I'm Med.
Today we are going to talk about... I love all the Iron Man films.
Even Iron Man 2.
Yeah, because I'm also a massive Pepper Potts girl. So like anything that Pepper's in, I'm here for.
Yeah.
So yeah, big fan back in the day. Not so much anymore. Like I've dipped in. I loved some of the like more limited series. Like loved Loki.
Loki was really good. Yep.
Haven't been as invested in some of the bigger budget films, but I feel like at the moment there's so many interesting things coming out this year for us to discuss.
I don't know if you've seen the new trailer for Thunderbolts.
Yes.
So Thunderbolts is basically Marvel's answer to Suicide Squad.
And I love Florence Pugh. Love Yelena as a character.
I love Florence Pugh.
Yeah, you love Florence.
I don't know about Yelena, the character, but
I love Yelena. Do you not like Yelena?
I just think like it was a copy paste Black Widow, obviously because they're siblings. But it was like they needed a replacement. And this is the thing about Thunderbolts. It's like all of the characters have a mirrored version, a good version.
That is one of the biggest criticisms of the MCU. Is this concept that nothing is permanent. No decision or no kind of character progression is permanent because of all of the different timelines and all of the different characters that come from that. And in a way, at the beginning, that's what made the MCU so special and so different, was because it was creating things that, like, obviously if you're a fan of the comic books, then maybe it wasn't as, no, it probably still was to see it in like cinematic form. But
it definitely was. I
was never a comic book person. So like for me, I was like, whoa, this is fucking mental. Like all of the different timelines and all of the different things that they kind of brought into it. And never really knowing whether or not someone was really dead or whether they were really gone. Like Loki died like 4 times or something. And you never really knew whether or not he was coming back. And while at one point, I think that was something that was there almost like, what's the thing when a brand has like a specific thing that's theirs?
Copyright.
Unique selling point.
UPS.
USP.
UPS. USP.
USP. That was their USP for a really long time. However, now I feel like it's become a bit tired because you don't ever truly know if someone's gone. You don't know if, okay, yeah, that was a really heartbreaking, heart-wrenching moment, but they might come back or they might come back in another form. That's the other thing.
But Black Widow's not coming back.
No.
Like, she's dead. Looking at the new age of Marvel, it's very telling the direction they're trying to lead.
Yeah. Because,
for example, another film that's like led onto like variants is Deadpool.
Yeah.
And Deadpool and the X-Men have always been Marvel
but
in life,
separate.
but Fox looked after them. I think it was, no, Sony, sorry. Sony looked after him, I think. And then they get introduced into Disney. Yeah. And he's obviously taking a piss out of the whole... You've seen Deadpool, right? Mm-hmm. And he takes a piss out of the whole kind of universe, blah, blah, but then he's invited into it. And I think with Fantastic Four coming out, new characters, new sort of like theme, new...
Did you like the original Fantastic Four?
With Jessica Alba?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I liked it more than Michael B. Jordan.
I'm not as fussed by that storyline personally.
Well, the Fantastic Four storyline. Do you know what? It's because they keep... This is another thing I hate about superhero movies. Why do you have to keep telling us the origins of how these people get their powers? Or like Spider-Man, I've seen it numerous times. Fantastic Four, obviously, they do it in the first film. They do it in the Michael B. Jordan version. I don't need to know this. You've done it before. Yeah. And I hope they don't do it in the new one. But judging from the trailer, they give us a flashback of how they got it. And again, we don't need to know. And I guess this is them catering to the new audience.
Agreed.
But these films are still out there for people to watch. Do you know what I mean?
Let's talk about Thunderbolts.
Okay.
Let's talk about, because you were the one that pointed this out to me about the A24 and like, so Thunderbolts, it's a Marvel film, but it's produced by A24.
No, not even.
Oh, so it's just like...
So it's a Marvel film. And what I think they've done, they've got a couple actors who have been in A24 films in that film. So what they've done, they've thought, hang on a minute, everyone loves A24. Our audience are probably a little bit older, and anything A24 does, people just want to flock to. Yeah. So why don't we make an advert? Because it wasn't the first advert, it was like after the second or third. Why don't we make an advert promoting everyone that's worked with A24 in the trailer? So Florence Pugh, obviously, been in Midsummer and blah, 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 blah. They even like done composers from everything everywhere.
All at once.
All at once. At the
same time.
I always say that. The composers from that film, the producers from this film, the costume designers from this film, they've worked, like, it's on their CV, and they're like, why don't we try and push that narrative? I think Florence Pugh come out saying, like, this film is going to be a bit more gritty, a bit more sort of badass indie vibes. And this is the thing I think Marvel should do. They've got so many films, so many projects. Why don't you just get different directors like A24, independent directors who are really cool and quirky to make your films? No, because like all the directors they use are just all people that just, obviously they have a template, but just make it different. A24 do it brilliantly.
I think now let's quickly segue into some of the controversial actors that have been associated with the Marvel films, because nowadays, quite rightly, people will completely cut off a franchise, a brand, a movie, whatever it might be, if they don't like
a certain thing that
someone who's been in them, someone even who's just been associated with them. Like that does play a big role these days. The biggest one that people probably know about is Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
Was Loki his first appearance as Kang? I think so.
What came out first, Loki or Ant-Man? I think that was the main sort of intro to Kang.
To him.
Yeah, I believe it was.
And then basically it was 2023.
What?
That his
scandal thing happened, yeah.
I can't remember when specifically it was, but it was in the midst of basically Jonathan Majors being tagged as like the next new big villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And they had to take a complete U-turn from that.
Had to completely U-turn. They had to basically, they were prepped to have a new film for him.
They literally ended Ant-Man or Loki with all of the Kangs.
Yeah.
Him being like the big bad villain, the Thanos level kind of threat.
And then it comes out that he has been accused of, I want to say physical assault and harassment, but I want to triple check. December 18th, 2023, he was found guilty of 1 count of reckless assault in the 3rd degree and a charge of harassment as a violation. He was acquitted on another charge. In April 2024, he was then sentenced to 52 weeks of a domestic violence intervention program and probation. However, also in 2023, after those initial charges came out, a number of other women did come forward with similar allegations. So basically,
he's a massive red flag.
Yeah. And it was kind of his downfall.
Yeah.
These things came out and very quickly he was dropped from his agent, blacklisted from Hollywood, all of those things. Then we also have Robert Downey Jr. He has been controversial at times. I mean, also, we didn't talk about this before, but obviously the whole Tropic Thunder thing.
In blackfacing.
Yeah. And he's defended it a lot.
Look.
He said that like people need to not be so woke about it.
All I'm going to say is it was a different time, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he blackfaced. Yes, the character was taking a piss out of black actors and he played it really well, but it was a different time. Movies were different, songs were different. Like, I don't think you can be angry at someone for a role that they played that far back and bring it up now because...
When did Tropic Thunder come out?
I'm going to say 2008. Yeah, 2008. So like that's so long ago and everything was so different, and like if you're going to bring that up then you're going to have to bring up like other things, and it's like me and Amy were watching a film and Amy was like, this won't run now. I was like, well, obviously this film's from like 2002 and it's just super sexist.
No, for sure.
And I just think it's a little bit unfair to pull up people's work from so far back and be like, he should get cancelled because of that. I understand if it's a tweet and something that they've like opinionated. I
completely agree with you on almost all of that. The only thing I would disagree on is that I agree that he shouldn't be cancelled for it. My only thing is I do feel as though the way in which he's responded to people's criticisms, I don't like it when people are like, oh, like people need to like calm down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fair enough if he was like, yeah, 100%. It was problematic. It was very much of the time, and that's why I did it. And that I get, because that's fair enough. Yeah, it was a different time. But I feel like when people get so defensive, it then to me just feels a little bit like, can't you just accept it and then like people won't be as annoyed anymore? Long story short, there are quite a few controversial, problematic people now associated with the MCU. Do I think that will have any effect whatsoever on its commercial success? No. Do I think that the MCU potentially is a little bit tired and maybe we've gone past its peak and it doesn't feel the same as it used to? Yes. Do I think that people who were nostalgic and cared for the first Avengers films will tune in for the new films? Yes.
Am I super excited about the future Marvel films? No. Am I going to watch them? Yes.
That's literally what I said like 10 minutes ago. Either way, let us know in the comments what your Marvel theories are. Is the MCU dead? Are you excited about the new films this year? Tell us your thoughts. Make sure to comment.
Like and subscribe.
Yes.
Because without you, we are nothing.
That was quite a good villain voice.
Bye.
Bye.